Hi, family. Welcome. So, today we are going to be tabbing this beautiful Bible. There's a few things that I like to personally do before tabbing, just so I can have more of a clear space of organization before getting started. First of all, I always like to have my hands clean. The only reason why is because I will be using my fingerprints. I unglue it from here and then it connects to my finger, and I just don't like anything on it personally, because I just don't like any dirt to be on my tabs. When it comes down to the tab itself, afterwards we're just gonna go through a few steps on what to do, on how to do it. But again, the first thing that I like to do is just have my hands cleaned out, and however big your tabs are. For example, this size, you have 2 pages. One is of the Old Testament, and the new one, and the second one is of the New Testament. I always like to have them pre-cut, and the only reason why is because when I'm already in the zone, in the mode, I just I just don't like interrupting it with cutting it. So I just cut it out and have them already pre-done, just so I can continue. And I just always like to have them in order. So I'm just going to do that real quick. I'm just going to place them out in order. And then when it comes down to the Bible itself, you're going to start off. I don't personally like to do the Old Testament, New Testament tab on it. I just go straight into Genesis. So I opened up my Bible into Genesis, and when you reach the first page, there is certain steps that I like to do. For example, I like to have this Genesis down. So it is right here. I like to start off on where it says the New Testament. I'm sorry, the Old Testament. And because, so say I am opening up my tab to it, I open it and it's going to open straight up to Genesis. But I like to have the front of my Bible facing my chest. So when it comes down to me removing the tabby of the Genesis, and you can see this is super easy, you just remove it out. You'll have it within your finger. You see where you want it. When measuring where you want it, all you're doing is kind of centering it. So you are centering your tabby, and you kind of see where you want it. You remove it, you grab your Genesis, and when it comes down to grabbing your Genesis, what I like to do is I like to go down until I reach my point of this is where I want it. And as you see, you just fold it, and that is it. And I just wanted to show you what I mean. So when I open up Genesis, say I'm here and and I want to go to Genesis, I grab Genesis and I open it, right? It leads me straight to where it needs to be. If I would have had it within the right page, because there's two sides. There's the left page and then there's the right page. If I would have had it where it actually says Genesis, I would have opened it and it would have led me to the second page of Genesis. So we have to keep that in mind when where to place it. I personally myself always like to do it on the left hand side and not the right hand side, because when you open it, it will lead you to the second page and not the first page of Genesis. So from here, again, this was facing the front page, was facing my chest. Now, moving forward, the back side is going to be facing my chest. And the only reason why in the beginning the front side was facing my chest was because it was the first one. It was the first one that needed to be placed down. And from there, I'm just gonna guide myself and continue going down. So from here, now it's going to be the back side is facing my chest, and I just like to go down. So now I just flip my pages down. I continue going down until I hit the next book, which will be Exodus. And then I just continue until I find it, until I find Exodus, which is right here. And I grab it while my hand is on the page and while my hand is here. I just grab it and I twist it out, and this is what I mean by my fingerprints will be attached. You know what I mean? If you had dirt there, it will definitely stick on. So just make sure your hands are clean, and then when it comes down to taking it, you just align it to Genesis as close as you can, and then you just make sure that when you're aligning it to Genesis, just make sure that there's just a little bit of space from the page to Genesis. Just a small little, the smallest space that it is possible, just so everything can be uniformed and everything can be aligned to each other. So from there, you just, and this is what I mean by the smallest space. And there is my fingerprints, but because it is clear and it's just my fingerprints, it doesn't really show on the page. So I just fold and I secure. And then we're just going to continue going down yet again to Leviticus. Until you find Leviticus, you just go down. I have found this to be the easiest way, the easiest way for me to do and get it aligned and get it uniform, where it looks neat, where it looks, in my eyes, beautiful. So grab it and you place it down. And there's going to be some shots in here where it's going to show you a little bit of a closer up of what I mean by aligning it and what I mean. But I just wanted to speak a little bit more into this video of just the pre-hand requisites of what it needs to be done beforehand. And then you just continue going down to the next book, which will be Numbers. And then when you reach Numbers, I went a little too far, I'm sorry. But here you go, Numbers. So you just do the same thing. You grab it, you grab your little string, and you unattach the number tabby. You hold it with your fingerprints, and you place it down to where you're actually holding it like this. And then when it comes down to Numbers, yet again, you go down on the aligning it to Leviticus, now aligning it to Leviticus, and then the tab from Numbers to the actual page, the space needs to be very, very small, just so some are not up there, some are not down, they're not left, they're not right, they're centered. And this is what I mean. And this Bible right here, it has thicker pages, so they don't really stick. But there's some Bibles, I don't know which ones you have, which one you have out there, but that are very small when it comes regarding the page, like they're very thin, so they might stick. So one of my recommendations to you, suggestions, is for you to play with the page to see if there's another one that's actually stuck to it. So you just play with the page, and then if there's nothing that's stuck to it, then you just fold down. And I just want to give you a little bit of an example or of how it looks. Everything is together, everything is aligned together. the way we want it to be, because come on now. We understand that nothing is perfect besides Jesus, but we try our best, right, Lord? So when it comes down again to Deuteronomy, you just simply unattach your tabby, and then you flip it over to where you're holding it with your 2 fingers. You're holding it with your thumb and with the other finger, and then you just center it, you align it to numbers, you align it to the page, and then you swipe it with your pinky for it to hold the grip. And there it is. You just fold it down, and that is it. Simple. Simple, simple. And if you think it's a little too much work, don't you worry, we got you covered. You can click on the link down below and you can shop at a store and we will do it for you. Don't you worry, we got you covered. But if you have time, play some music, do your thing, worship the Lord, and relax and enjoy it. Enjoy this beautiful moment with the Lord. Now we're in Joshua. And then when it comes yet again, so we finished off with the first string. This is trash. Put it to the side. Now we're going to continue on with the second one, which is the second string, and you will find Joshua to start off. There's going to be some tabs. You saw on the other one, the one I just trashed. There's some tabs on here that I'm not using. They're just practice tabs. You don't need to use those. You just throw them away. And then, okay, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing it. I'm aligning it to Deuteronomy. And I am aligning it to the page. I use my pinky on my left-hand side. I swipe it. And then I do this. Okay, I want to show you a great example of what just happened. So, there is a lot of space between the page of Joshua and between the tab of Joshua. There is a little bit too much space for my liking. But what you do in this situation is you pray to the Lord first. Heavenly Father, let this tabby come off right away. And you just simply take it off. You play with the corner of it. And then you just take it away. Here it is. And it might happen to you, it might not happen to you, but there's certain things that, you just, without really thinking, it happened, and you're like, oh my goodness, I have to fix it, because you don't like it like that. So you just take a breather, you relax, and you start all over. So here it is, Joshua yet again. I am aligning it to Deuteronomy. I am aligning it to the page. I'm paying attention this time. And I am swiping it with my pinky so it can get a grip. And then I am just... And I know it seems like it's a little bit bad in the beginning because like the tabby kind of like started folding up. But as soon as you place it down onto the page, you're all set to go. As you can tell, like nothing happened. So you're just going to continue going down. And as you continue going down, you're gonna see that it will take you roughly around 30-45 minutes. If you were like me in the beginning, it took me around an hour and 15 minutes, which is perfectly okay. Don't you worry, you take your time. But it is just going to turn out so beautiful. Like, as you can see, this is it. This is it. This is it right here. Everything is uniform. Everything is aligned. Everything is not perfect, but close to it. And yeah, it's a beautiful tab to Bible for you.